It's so nice to say round two. You know that? It just rolls right off the tongue. Just round two playoffs for the Maple Leafs, something I haven't said and we all haven't said in 19 years. You know what? Let's sit back and enjoy this. It's gonna be fun. I think this Panthers team is gonna be interesting to play against. But anyway, game one tonight. Let's see what happens. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan from Seaway Sports Lounge, and tonight is game one of a new series in round two against the Panthers versus the Leafs. This is a new series for me that I'll be doing. The next one, of course, for the series of videos. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to go over the game. I'm going to do my takeaways, breakdown, who got the goals, and the general thoughts of the game as a whole. So, anyway, with that, let's just get right into it. So, unfortunately, the Leafs lost 4-2 tonight. Tonight's game was a bit different, obviously, because it was round two, but more importantly, had a different feel for it. I mean, it was a bit of a lighter game in terms of the feel. I feel that Leaf fans probably noticed is that we're here. Let's have some fun. Let's try it. Let's see if we can go get this first game. Fortunately, didn't happen. Toronto was very strong up front at the beginning of the game. First 10 minutes, Toronto was very dominant. They had a lot of potential shots, a lot of shot attempts. They were in on the net, but Sergei Bobrovsky, the starting goalie for Florida, ended up standing on his head for the first 10 minutes. Overall, the game was 36-28 were the shots in favor of the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs had much more zone time this time. They were in Florida's end quite often, which was great to see. Very big change compared to the Tampa game. Unfortunately, Toronto had 4 power plays, which did not amount to anything, which is a huge reason why they lost this game, in my opinion. Florida is known for a heavily penalized team. It's just the way they are. They started the game off with that notion because they were getting penalties very early on. Of course, that slowed down as the game went on too, but Toronto didn't cash in, and they had a lot of great looks, a lot of great in the front of the net type chances, and it didn't work out. And I think that, like I said, was a turning point why this game didn't go in their favor. Hits, Toronto was actually out hit in this game. Florida really throws the body around. Something I didn't expect. I heard a lot about the fact that they do that, but to see it firsthand against our team, it's definitely evident that they're going to have to make some adjustments towards that because they did throw the body around. They were controlling the play when they did have it in Toronto's end quite often. There's 2 lines in particular that had it. Block shots. Toronto was blocking a lot of lanes. They continued the trend they did in the Tampa series near the end, which is great. Turnovers were pretty much equal. Now, as for power play, as for goals, first goal, there's only one in the first. It was from Nick Cousins, 925, Chuck, and Bennett. This line is going to be a menace for the Maple Leafs. They're going to have to make an adjustment for this line. This line was the dominant line in Boston, which is the reason why the Bruins lost, or one of the reasons why the Bruins lost. They couldn't contain these guys. They did hold quite a bit of an edge whenever they did get the puck. Toronto did a decent job clearing the puck or clearing the net away, so that way Samsonov could see. Samsonov was excellent in this game again. Overall, there were one goal in particular, but we'll go in that shortly. It was kind of like Florida had that period more. Toronto did have their share. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Toronto was in the period enough. Florida was definitely showing the push, especially in the latter half of that period. So then they go into the second period. Again, Bennett to Chuck. That line again, very dominant. One of those goals that just went in. It was kind of a crappy goal. Bothered me a little bit, but anyway, those goals go in. So the game was kind of deflated a little bit. The crowd wasn't in as much, and they were trying to get back. A lot of go Leafs go and all that, but Toronto again with no power play goals hasn't helped the situation. It didn't look like Toronto was kind of getting into it. All of a sudden, there was at 8:09, Matthew Nyes got his first goal of the playoffs and his career, I believe, from Matthews and Riley. It was a nice goal. He was all alone. He ended up backhanding it into the net, into an open net, got the game going. Leafs 2-1. And then Toronto ended up at 14:51, dump in. Anyway, Michael Bunting ended up going in right to the net. Anyway, ended up backhanding it past Bobrovsky from Yarncronk and Ryan O'Reilly. It was just a beautiful goal. It was really a highlight reel goal if you were to look at it, or highlight of the night type thing. So anyway, 2-2, games back in our control. Toronto dominated that period. Second was pretty much theirs. Obviously, playing from behind down 2-0, you have to, but they played well. They got the tie. And then at 17:47, this was a mistake. McCabe ended up making a pinch, and I think it cost them this goal. Brody ended up trying to recover. Anyway, they blew right past him. and Verhage was on a mini breakaway, put it right past Samsonov, and that was it, 3-2. And he was kind of a like Samsonov wasn't ready for that goal. That's the goal I was talking about earlier. He was kind of looked like he was off kilter. Anyway, puck went in 3-2. That's the end of the second. Now, third period, Toronto tried to get back into it as much as they could. Florida obviously controlled some of the play, which is what you're supposed to do when you're trying to finish off this game. They ended up getting a goal from Brandon Montour. Now, Brandon Montour, we'll go into the takeaways about him. I'll bring him up shortly. He got a goal. He got his first of this series, but his sixth overall in this playoff from again Kachuk and Barkov actually got into the mix for points. So that basically iced it. Now Toronto tried a couple of different ways to get in. They pulled the goalie and they ended up getting a double minor at the very end of the game with like 38 seconds left. That was sorry, Florida got the double minor because they high sticked Ryan O'Reilly, which a lot of blood and all that. So they had to review it and they called it in his favor. Fortunately, Toronto didn't get it done. But there was a lot of looks. There was a post by Matthews. Matthews had a lot of different plays. He was in there. Unfortunately, he just didn't factor in on the score sheet that much, if at all. But as for penalties, pretty light. Like I said, it was they got lighter as they went on. Toronto was very, very disciplined in this game. I found, as far as I can tell, and yeah, that's basically what happened in the game. There was not much to report tonight. It was kind of a weird feeling, a little bit like weird in terms of trying to, it's a game one, right? Game ones for me, I don't get super duper excited for game ones because anything can happen. I mean, let's be honest, anything can happen, and sometimes it just doesn't go in Toronto's favor, and it didn't. Yeah, takeaways, simple takeaways. Samsonov was in the game when Florida was pressing quite much. It was really, really good to see. He kept continuing. He did have that one goal that was so that the 4-2 goal. Anyway, I just didn't look good, but it is what it is. But Samsonov again was a good reason why Toronto stayed in the game. He made a lot of key saves to keep the goals down to 1 goal games, which is great. Matthews again factored in. Now, Florida. I'm going to talk about Florida right now. Florida has 2 lines that are very dangerous. Having not watched the Panthers much this year, watching today, I mean, it's only a 1 game for me. Toronto will have to make adjustments against the Tachuk line and the Barkov line. There's going to be 2 lines they're going to have to work on. That was mentioned in the sports cast at the end. To Chuck and that his line will cause fits for the Leafs because they're very physical and they do go right up to the net, which is one of the reasons how they were getting goals in the series against Boston. Definitely something Toronto's going to have to keep an eye on. Bobrovsky played Bobrovsky's good game today. As we all know, Bobrovsky has 2 kind of games. He can go either really well or really not so well. Tonight he came and he played. And this is a continuation again from the finishing off of Boston. So Florida, I think, had the momentum going into this game more so. Toronto did too. Florida seemed a little more energized. Toronto got going. It was kind of it's hard to say. Like it was kind of a little bit of an even battle. I just Toronto Florida's more opportunistic, I found tonight. They had a chance and they made those chances count. Where Toronto had their chances and either they missed the puck, or sorry, they missed the shot, put it over the net, missed it completely, or just Bobrovsky stopped them. As simple as that. It's just the bounces didn't go their way. It, the opportunities were there and they didn't cash in. I think that's basically the biggest takeaway from this game is that Toronto had their chances to go up on a very early lead, especially in the first, didn't happen. And they were playing catch up the whole night. So that's just how it goes sometimes. And am I disappointed? Yes. I mean, I wanted Toronto to go up 1 game to none. They don't normally do too well in their game ones. Anyway, neither does Florida actually either. They're not very good on their home. They got this one. And you know what? It's game 2 in 2 days. Am I excited? Absolutely. I think this series is going to be great to watch. There is so much talent that is going up and down the lineup or up and down the ice. I mean, really, really nice to see. This series, I think, will suit the Maple Leafs more. They're not as like Tampa was, which was a push pressing team into our own end. This is going to be a much more wide open track meet, I think. A lot of up and down skating, a lot of breakaways potentially, depending on how the players go. But Florida is not going to be a pushover for the Maple Leafs. They have their work to do. And it's up to the coaching staff to get ready for game 2. That's basically it. This is going to be a much shorter video or not as much to report. We'll have to see what game 2 brings, but I'm excited about this series. So with that, I'm going to stop the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. And if you like what we're doing, please hit the like or subscribe. If you want to find out more about videos we do, please hit the notification bell on the right. So, with that, thank you very much. And I will see you on Thursday.